Hello, this is Serp, and welcome back to Potluck Prime Picks, which is a follow-up to the Customs Potluck tournament we have in the Breakfast Club Exceed server. That's an event where we have some people bring customs they think are cool, play against each other, trade them off, and at the end vote on which custom they think was really interesting so that I can interview the creator and talk about it a bit. Uh, this is something I did a few days ago. You might have seen it. I had a worse intro there, but we are doing it again because the winner of this last potluck was a tie, and so today I have Crimson Foxtail, who designed Felicity Fitzgerald. I believe that's how I pronounce it.
Yes.
Hello, Foxtail.
Yes.
Uh,
Hello.
so unlike all of the other winners we've had for this event before, interview-wise at least, this is actually a original character by Foxtail. All the arts, all the character frames, and obviously the mechanical design were all made by her. So usually I start off by asking a bit about how the Exceed design reflects what the character's like in Source, but obviously the Source is something that most people won't be as familiar with. So I'll start by letting you talk about whatever context for the setting you think is useful here, I guess.
All right. So Felicity, she is a magical girl in a world where magical girls have just appeared a few years ago, and all these organizations of magical girls have popped up to fight monsters. And she is one of the most powerful and most famous magical girls out there. She is on top of being a magical girl, she is also an idol because she really loves fame and fortune. uh, but on the other hand, she also has a dark little secret that she is secretly one of the monsters that magical girls fight. And
Whips.
she's trying to hide it because if it's ever revealed, she may be killed, or worse, her career will bomb. That's her whole deal in a nutshell.
Yeah,
Not getting into all the politics of the setting.
that's fair. I did a solo panel over her cards also, since that kind of ties into her idol nature, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a setting that you've designed a few characters for now, I believe. You have Kafka and Shelly up here who have been in previous events too. Is there? I know you use overdrives as a season mechanic. Do you want to talk about a bit about how mechanically you kind of design these characters, what ties them together, and to your uh, magical girl setting?
Okay, so with this set, well, the core of it, like, I made it the Blaze Blue set because honestly, I felt like it was the most anime because overdrives are really cool and dramatic with how timed they are. You know, you get your short moment of taking the stage and you really have to run with it.
Yeah.
Like, your Exceed becomes kind of a live or die kind of thing. It's very dramatic. And Astrals are there for me to make really stupid attacks that I don't actually know how to balance because they'll probably never get played.
This is a pretty good attack,
Yes,
but
I
it
had a
costs a
lot
lot
of
of
fun
money.
making the art on that one.
Yeah. What I've heard about the Blaze Blue design in general is that it's very resource intensive. You want to like you get so much gauge during a game, and then there are a bunch of cool things you can spend it on, but you have to choose a few of those things because you're going to like either die or just run out of money before you get to do everything fun about the character. But that's like a lot of flashiness and replayability, I think.
Yeah,
Sounds
that
very fun.
was honestly not entirely the intention, but I've kind of drawn inspiration from like all of the seasons
Hmm.
except six. And it just sort of worked out that like I like Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear seasons, and they're a lot about like using resources. Even though I also like the numbers of the Street Fighter season, like I wanted there to be some kind of fun little drama with like getting to really set things up with different effects that cost stuff. Also, for the record, I honestly would have made this a season 7 set, but even though I've only released characters like recently, I started planning this out like a year or two ago before the season 7 set was out.
Oh,
So
really?
this was before canceling existed, so they don't have any.
That's even before I think I got into Exceed. So
Oh, wild.
yeah. So getting more specifically into Felicity, how did you get started on figuring out what kinds of effects and shapes you wanted her to have?
Uh Actually, it started out like because she's an OC, I want to bring out like her personality with all these cards. And it started out with a design that was honestly just me mashing a bunch of characters I vaguely wanted together
Hmm.
into some kind of knight-like magical girl. And I had a bunch of ideas bouncing around, and then at some point the words ferret footsies popped into my head, and I'm like, oh, I have to make a girl who does that, whatever the heck that means. I'm honestly not even sure what footsies really means in Exceed, but like this is an attempt at figuring it out.
Makes sense.
So I figured that if I'm gonna do footsies, the main things are movement, boosts, and long reach, I guess. So she ended up like a mid-range character. She's not really like a full-on zoner because I have plans for making really messed up zoners later on in the set.
Exciting.
And she's in the more protagonist side of things, so she has to be a little more restrained. But I did want to focus her around the mid-range, like 2 to 4 mostly.
I see.
And it really started with this card, Etincel.
The
This
worm.
is actually like one of the most central cards to her design, not necessarily from like a balance standpoint, but from a design standpoint. Because I was trying to think of like how she would fight, because I had a vague idea that she should use a sword and maybe electricity, but I have a bad complexity addiction that makes me refuse to give any characters normal ways of attacking. So I thought it'd be fun if she could like flick electrified gold coins around.
Certainly is a
And the
money
way I
card.
yes, the way I imagined it in like a fighting game would be that she flicks a coin and it's weak, but it can like stun you out of attacks. And after she does that, it leaves a little coin on the ground that she can set off with electricity.
I see.
And so this is like one of the first cards I thought of her because it's her main little defense at range 3 because it's faster than any normal you can play there. It's only 2 power, so it's not gonna hurt. But
Yeah.
the force cost is a little fake because the hit effect adds a top card of your discard pile to your gauge, which means that if you spend gauge, it's just free because the gauge you spend goes back. But you
Yeah.
can also choose to add a card from hand to gauge to get even more gauge. So you're probably not dealing damage, but you're building up to something big. And
Yeah.
then the boost is also central to her design in some silly ways because the effect of the boost is pretty normal. It's +1 range, now strike. That's just reach or like huge in season 7. A common boost that shows up in a lot of characters, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Uh
Is that
so
what Porte
that's like
means?
good
I'm
for
not familiar with French.
uh so this was a joke I had with Inky, my girlfriend who speaks French, and thank you to her for giving me help with all of these boost and attack names, and also sorry to her for butchering all of them.
Oh,
But I actually just asked Inky for how she would translate reach into French because I thought it would be funny if all of her boosts were named in French, but they were also like normal boosts you'd see on other characters. She
I
just
see.
has French versions of them.
Seems consistent.
Yes.
I can't identify all of these off the top of my head, but petit pas.
Yes.
But yeah, sorry to distract. I was just curious.
No, it's fine. I like that is a I love explaining my dumb jokes. Anyway, yeah, it's reach. It helps her fight in mid range when she needs a little more reach out of her attacks, so she can attack you at a distance without needing any of her specials in particular. And the other major card though for her design is Lumiere here in the middle,
Mhm.
which this is probably my favorite art that I've done for her. As you can probably tell, it's very exciting the way it looks with this giant thunderbolt, and the coins exploding all
Yeah.
around, and a light bulb on her sword doubling as a microphone.
I actually haven't looked that closely at his art before. I really like the money explosion effect. But yeah, it does seem like it
Yes,
kind of ties together a lot of the principles of the character you mentioned earlier.
yes. Unfortunately, lightning bolts are really hard to draw. But anyway, uh, this was like sort of the punchline to Etincelle, where after she flicks gold coins at you that are all electrified, she can set them all off and like cause a giant thunderbolt.
Hmm.
So this is like her main ranged attack. It's one of her stronger ones because like if you spend 2 force, you gain 2 power, and it sweeps the opponent. They lose a card because the idea I had was just that like the thunderbolt is so strong that she that like the opponent crumples after getting hit.
Yeah, kind of like a sweepish effect.
Yes, and then 5 guard, advance up to 2. It's also pretty good defensively, so you can just kind of throw it out whenever if your opponent's within those ranges.
Yeah,
Although it spends 2 force, so it's like it's supposed to make you spend money. Where Etincelle is about getting money, Lumiere is about spending it.
yeah. I noticed there's a bit of an ebb and flow, I guess, especially with those attacks, but notably with your UA, you want to spend gauge and you get cards in your hand in exchange for like whatever you've hit before, like whatever add and sell, but engage. So there'll be some very powerful ways to use the resources that you build up by playing strikes.
Oh yeah, her ability also is like very important. That was like one of the very first things I thought about her because
Makes
like
sense.
trying to figure out what footsies mean and like one of the things is like not striking actions and also moving. So
Yeah,
she has this, which is as an action, it's not a strike, so it should get you thinking about what you should be doing other than striking. And spend 1 gauge means you're probably spending gauge for things. But then for that, you get movement and cards, which says really wants movement and cards. She wants to be in the right position with the right attacks in hand.
makes sense. What do you say?
And
Like
yeah, that
footsies usually gets like the image of a Shoto-ish, like Ryu, and one of the some of the things that people say define him are having very specific ranges and then having his UA, which allows him to get to where he can threaten the things he wants to threaten. So, kind of the design of these cards ranges and this UA, I think, reflects that pretty clearly.
yeah, it was sort of like Ryu, sort of like Guile with the cards, and sort of like Chun Li with being able to move out of reach.
Yeah, bit of a
All those kinds
combo.
of characters. Yeah.
Okay. Did
uh,
you want to bring up any of the other attacks? So it seems like you designed the kit primarily around having this interaction, this kind of combo. Were these meant to
yeah.
like fill in some gap left by them, or
Yeah. Futher and Arc Electrique are basically just like the opposite sides of the mix-up for Etincelle and Lumiere.
mm,
Because Arc Electrique, it has like the stat line of Spike, but with hit push 1 and after you may retreat 1, which instead of stunning the opponent, it just pushes them out of the way. You can retreat out of focus, you can push the enemy away if they sweep. So if you try trading with an Etincelle with a slow and she catches you with this, you lose out on that
makes sense?
damage. And also, just as a little bonus, I should get a card and put a little bit of fun trivia with Arc Electrique, which is that Kafka, one of my other magical girls, has this, and as you can see visually, they are actually the same thing because Kafka just stole it.
I see.
Yeah, because this is my own set. I get to do whatever I want. So one thing I want to do is have some characters kind of steal moves from each other, kind of like your Shoryukens and Hadokens.
Yeah.
And in this case, Kafka's is literally just dire eclot from Kai, but Felicity's has like less push. I mean, yeah, less push and more movement and also more range because Felicity is less about brute force, but also taller, so she can hit a bit further.
Incredible.
Yes,
I
and
know Kafka also has her way to extend the push distance, which matters more in her kits, but
yeah, and also the boost on Arc Electrique is +1 speed. Now advance, retreat 1, hit gain advantage, which means that you move 1 and then you threaten something a little faster if they let you attack. And that is like what I wanted to be one of her most important things. You can just step away and say, I'm going to attack you with like a speed boosted Lumiere or something.
makes sense.
And then the name is just light.
Oh, okay.
It's the boost on speed, but just or boost on sweep, but just in French.
Got two of them. Yeah, moving one's
Yes.
kind of like adding speeds, depending on how well the opponent can react.
And then the Foudre is this card has changed a lot, but its main purpose is to be a fast thing at range 4 that will stun you if you attempt to assault or dive out of Lumiere. Because Lumiere's range is really restrictive, so it's kind of easy to move out of it, but then
Yeah.
if you play something without guard, then she just catches you with Foudre instead. And I don't have much to say about the art except that it was really fun drawing her. Like she looks like she's having fun there, and I was nice.
This Marcus.
This attack used to be stronger, and then it got weaker because it was kind of unfair that she had like two different cards that let her spend 2 force for 2 power at range 4, because she could just blow you up the moment she gets out there. In
But
this
she's pretty good at
iteration,
moving
it's
around.
just 3 powers. So I've been experimenting with like adding power to it in different ways that don't blow you up at range 4, so it's not just better Lumiere.
Yeah. I
And
noticed
meanwhile,
this.
the
Oh,
boost is yeah, the boost is the power equivalent of the one on Arc Electrique, which yep, move, boost, you're ready, you're playing footsies. And also the name is Fierce. It is just the boost on grasp, but in French.
makes sense. Bit harder to
Also,
call it plus 2 power, but
also these are +1 force. I mean, not +1, but like they cost 1 force, and so does Forte. And that is because honestly, I'm not sure she like needed a force cost on these, in the sense that like I'm pretty sure other characters have similar things that don't cost anything. But she just draws so many cards that I thought it'd be fun to just slap force cost on literally all of her boosts, so you're always spending something.
yeah.
And like, aside from balance considerations, that's mostly an aesthetic consideration, because Felicity wants to feel rich by like spending lots of money. Like she's just flicking gold coins at people. So I wanted the player to like always have to spend things. So they're always thinking about like what they can dump. Just getting them in sort of a habit of spending things as they play. You
Yeah.
have to sort of devalue your own cards.
It kind of justifies having a bigger amount of draw, which might
Yes.
be a good time to look at the ultra boosts.
Uh,
Unless
well,
you
I
want to talk
kind of
about
wanted
skills
to
first.
mention.
Yeah.
I did want to mention the boost on Lumiere
That's fair.
first, which is like kind of skipped over that, but Advance or Retreat 3, if you move past the opponent, you can add a card from your hand to your gauge. This is her only free boost, and it removes a card from her hand if you do the effect, so like
Secret
it
force
still
cost.
technically has, yeah, it is also making you pay something, but it's also a way for her to get gauge without striking.
Makes sense.
And the name is actually one of the ones that Inky gave me that I'm really happy with, because the idea is that Felicity is like ferret themed with the ears and the tail,
Yeah.
so she can actually like turn into a little ferret and dash around at lightning speed. So this is what this boost is supposed to represent. And the name Servalte, according to Inky, it means like surcharged or like overcharged, and
Oh,
obviously that plays into the electric theme.
yeah.
But according to Inky, it means something also like zoomies for a pet. So that's a really fun name I got to use, where she's just like zipping around as a little
Just
animal.
like a little electric toy that's like overcharged. It's just like moving all over the place.
Yes, she
That's
needs to
fun.
really zoom. And then there's also Ampere, which is it's a sort of counter because it has armor, but you lose the armor afterwards. So like you can tank faster hits and strike the enemy. And it
Hmm.
has advance 2 if you're hit, so like you get that extra range, so it can catch, grasp, and cross. And it pretty much guarantees that she can get a hit at range 1, because like faster normals will just get parried. And she will hit slower normals, but she'll also get owned because she'll lose the armor.
It's Gage.
Uh, well, the real reason this attack exists, honestly, is because I just wanted to draw her doing like a fun counterattack. Because one of her inspirations for this design was actually Charlotta from Grand Blue, and I'm gonna steal this Charlotta card and say that these are meant to be like the same attack. Not like stat wise. Ignore that this is a card. It's just like the attack from Grand Blue that inspired this. It's also the attack that inspired this card. It's kind of just coincidence that the stats worked out more or less the same, though, even though this isn't the latest version of Charlotta's card.
Yeah, I believe this card
But
is
yeah,
targeted for nurse, but yeah, it's basically kind of a similar tiger uppercut-ish shape.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
this
really, I just wanted to draw a counter attack for Felicity where she like does a flashy pose under spotlights. I feel like that's very important for her personality.
yeah, the fancy after image cut.
Yes. It does make her also much more defensive now, because like all of her attacks are either like long range and fast or slow and guarded. So
Yeah, I
she'll
was
just
thinking
force
like
you into trades constantly.
yeah, if you're kind of 2 and 3 presence, your range 4-ish presence, so this kind of covers your close range. So it gives her
Yeah.
like a bit of a vulnerability to being up close. Although like there's all these normals, she can just like move away. But you do have like an attack to cover that if you need to.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I kind of designed her in mind that like she always loses to sweep, but
uh
yeah, she still needs something to play at range 1.
yeah, makes
And then
sense.
the boost on this, it's quick step, except it's like small step, I guess, because it's French. That's what Enki told me. And uh, it's move one, take another action, except because I wanted people to spend something with all of her boosts, it's also one force, but you draw one,
Change cards action.
which, yeah, it's technically like economically the same as just move one, take another action, but you pay something for it.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, that's all her specials though. Because now we can get onto the ultras, I think.
Yeah, I've had this draw 9 hovering in the corner of my screen for a while.
Yes, that is a fun boost. This used to be something like it used to be some it was Bison dollars before. So like if the opponent has more cards, draw, and then add this to your gauge, and that was kind of dumb because like you just play it whenever you're low on cards and you get gauge out of it. And also you're gauging an ultra. So
Yeah.
that's you're saving up like 2 force for Lumiere. And uh the now draw 9 though, Inky had suggested to me something like spend up to 3 force and then draw 3 per card spent, and like that's a pretty good rate on change cards. But then we thought, like, what if you just had to do the maximum? What if you could only do the 3 force version? And so then I decided to do this, and it was just like I realized that if you put enough draw on something, it stops actually being that good.
Yeah.
Because this isn't actually like draw 9, because Felicity has nothing to boost her hand size at all. So what this really says is now draw 10 and then discard down to 7. You literally cannot avoid overdrawing with this card.
It is a very
And I've
funny
seen some
effect.
people yeah, I've seen some people say that they're like afraid to play. They don't know when because like they don't want to overdraw. And this is actually like part of the reason this card exists, because like Felicity has her ability that lets her draw cards, but sometimes it feels like you don't want to use it because you're gonna go over your max hand size and like, oh no, you're gonna waste that card. But this is a boost that just runs right into that on purpose. You have to overdraw, and it lets you curate your hand, but like you're not getting around that. You're discarding 3 cards at least that do literally nothing for you until you reshuffle,
Yeah. Even
because part of her whole deal is like I want people to spend frivolously. So I want people to really spend here. You'll get like the perfect hand you want, but you'll also discard about as many cards as you drew.
very thematic. Yeah.
And also the name of this boost, La Lumiere Verte, is a
Right.
complicated thing because secretly all these characters, these magical girls so far that I've made, they're all literary references. And I always give them like one boost that is sort of referencing the book they're supposed to reference. And Felicity Fitzgerald is a reference to The Great Gatsby.
Makes
So
sense.
this boost, La Lumiere Verte, is the green light, symbolizing like Jake Gatsby's dream or whatever. I don't want to get
It
into fumbling a book report here, but this boost is supposed to represent like the peak of what Felicity wants. It's just pure wealth that she can't actually keep. She just wants cards. She wants to throw away cards. She just wants to keep the money flowing, even if it means sacrificing things.
yeah. It's been 10 years since I read it, I think, so I can't call you out on themes, but it definitely has that feeling, I think.
Yeah.
Even if you can't like hold on to all the cards you have, there definitely is something to be said for the card velocity it gives you. Like just being able to see more of your deck, sculpt your hand however you want. Some of your other things, like especially the quick step to kind of change cards, reinforces that a bit. Your kind of enhanced CC that your UA gives you. So
Yeah.
definitely feels like it ties things together. Ties things together, even if it's a bit scary to boost sometimes.
Yeah. There is one thing I like to use it for, which is using it to reshuffle actually, because like,
True.
you could reshuffle, take your Astral, and then burst and then gain cards. Or if your deck is running low, you could play this and just instantly draw into it like a full hand. And you can even throw away any normals that you don't want to get red. So you can just ignore that little loss of momentum from reshuffling and just take it in stride.
Pretty useful.
As for the attack, it is 7 speed, hits at range 3, spend force for power. It's basically there so that if you bait it out, you can take away her reload. I'm gonna be honest.
I see.
Although it's also there that Ultra is like meant to be a bit redundant for her mid range, because like normally the fastest thing she has is Etin Cell, and that's only 2 power. But now with this, she can threaten in this version a whopping 4 power. Ooh.
It does catch cross on defense, which is pretty notable, but I guess it depends
Yeah.
on what threats she has up that the cross position would be vulnerable to.
Yeah. The main thing, though, also aside from being redundancy in the mid range to make her stronger, there is that, of course, it has to be fast, because yellow is one of her main colors, and also she is made of lightning, so obviously she needs something that just completely outspeeds at range.
Checks out to me. Yes, your other Ultra Boost does seem to reinforce that being fast aspect.
Yes, elation. Sadly, people argued it down from +2 speed now strike and +1 speed +1 power, but this is fine. Now she gets extra turns from going fast instead.
Makes sense. It's kind of
It's
reminiscent
definitely
of, I believe Kai and Geo have a similar boost that's cancelable, but you're just Mega Force instead.
Yeah, it's effectively just that, but also on an ultra, so it's even costs a little more. But
True.
you are just playing a boot. Well, Geo's is on an ultra too, but yeah, she just needs something that's sort of a speed boost. If you can't win the strike, like, and you need some kind of now strike effect, the thing she should get is speed. She's going to go faster.
Yeah.
It does have the unfortunate drawback of not quite stacking with her other boosts because they also give hit gain advantage. But
Nothing wrong with getting two
you know what?
advantage.
Felicity is a character who is willing to pay extra for +1 speed now strike anyway. Everything she has is a little expensive.
Yeah,
She's
you can get the money
she's
back.
really dipping into the brand name stuff.
I forgot, it's the character with sponsors on her coats, isn't it? I
Oh
don't know if it
yes,
shows
yeah,
up any of them.
you can't really see them
Aw.
unfortunately.
It might be on the
Wait,
dive, was it?
yeah, they're a little more visible on dive,
Yeah, there are also custom
which
normals here.
yeah, I should probably point that out
There she is.
because this is a custom set for my own characters. I made a set of normals, and because they're all magical girls, of course they have different color themes. So it's a different girl for every single normal. Yippee. And then Felicity here is on dive, and if you zoom in close, you can see a bunch of little sponsor logos on the back of her cape.
The ads.
It's a fun little detail that never comes up because I always draw her facing the camera.
I see. Makes sense.
Although these logos, I feel like mentioning are actually like plot important companies in the story. I actually have like these specific logos saved in a file just so I can keep putting them down because like they're the ones that she's always gonna have.
Exciting.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yes, also Tonnerre, the ultra on this, Coup de Tonnerre. It's basically just a big high power hit. Before advanced 3, so it's got range of about 2 to 5. 4 speed, so it's like middling, but hopefully adding a little speed or guard or something can shore that up. And 7 power and spend up to 3 force for each force spent +1 power. So it hits a maximum of 10. You're also spending 4 gauge and 3 force, so like you have to dump a lot of resources into that.
Yeah.
But
But you can pay for
it's
it.
the biggest hit she's gonna get.
Yeah. And it makes sense since she does have a bit of extra gauge generation, so.
Yes. I really want people to like have lots of money and then spend lots of money constantly, and that is the big payout.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen people say that this isn't that great of a payout, to which I'm like, come on, it's 10 damage, pay for it.
Hmm.
Also, this was supposed to have a gimmick of looking like this card
Auto power
to
level.
imply that Kafka also stole this move. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. It just did not look good trying to make Felicity do this specific little spine breaker pose.
I see.
So instead, we ended up with this. But I like it because this is the one card of all of these I think where Felicity is not smiling. It's the only one where she's like just going feral and attacking. Because that is a bit of her monster side leaking out.
That is what 10 power would probably feel like.
Yes, that is when she goes wild.
Makes sense. I also noticed that she has like a pretty She has like 2 speed boosts, 2 power boosts, her range boosts. They're like small numbers, but there's like consistent stats, so that kind of ties back into her playing footsies, like doing a bit of neutral. She can
Yeah,
threaten. She can stack a few stat boosts to make her stuff, her mix ups a bit more threatening, either in terms of like
yeah,
consistency or payout. So
yeah. Since she's supposed to be more of a protagonist, I didn't want her to rely entirely on like huge gimmicky boosts, but instead she can just threaten a little bit of
incremental
stats everywhere. She can just be a little bit better, but like she has to really use her small bonuses to the best of her advantage. Of course, also with how much card draw she gets, she can just get any EX she wants pretty easily. So like that's also a reason her stat boosts are a little small
makes sense.
because she can turn that +1 speed into technically +2 speed or +1 power and +2 power. Like she can really throw cards together to kill you.
These definitely are all pretty scary EX shapes. I think looking at them again, this especially.
Yeah. she she's kind of supposed to just throw out lots of cards. So
Yeah,
I did account for that. Like part of the reason most of her specials are like kind of gimmicky and defensive is that I figured that a lot of her power would honestly be like, look, she doesn't need to deal with grasp. She can just, I mean, not grasp. She doesn't need to deal with sweep because she can just get 2 sweeps and kill you with those.
makes sense.
Like she, ideally, she should always have whatever she needs on hand because she's just digging through her deck so fast.
Yeah. Another bit of a toolbox-ish character. She can just find
Yeah.
what she needs.
That's what makes her a protagonist and a very dazzling one who always knows what to do.
Very sure of herself. Uh,
Yes.
I know you mentioned she had her transformation thing, and I believe Kafka kind of used the overdrive to represent her more monstrous form. Is this a similar thing the case for Felicity, or is it representing
It
something
is
else?
it is a very similar thing actually. And I do want to highlight just all three of the magical girls because so Felicity's ability is like move, draw, and then her exceed mode gets weird with it because I'm honestly not quite sure what I want to do with it. Like this may get reworked, but no one's told me any better ideas.
I see.
And but when she exceeds, she gets a strike first because her exceed mode's weird, and like I figured you should just get something out of it immediately. But when she attacks during her exceed mode, she can spend 1 force and gain power and draw 2. So now she's still getting the draw from her ability, but it's tied to attacking instead of an action. So it's just making her economy much more active and aggressive.
Yeah.
Now if you want to fish through your deck, you just start clawing at people. And her overdrive, that's the really weird part because it's move 2. But it's mandatory. You cannot sit still. She is zooming some direction no matter what. Which is why I added it she strikes when she exceeds, because like otherwise you don't know when you're where you're going to strike from next turn. But if you get to 1 strike, then you can at least control it. Just grasp and throw them to where you want them.
It's value.
And this is a weird ability. I think this is another thing that like people don't quite know how to use, and I'm not sure either. But it gets the feel down of like she's sort of uncontrollable.
Yeah. The
There's
overdrive.
probably some kind of footsies there with like being able to retreat completely out of normals range, play a boost, and then immediately advance back in and strike. But it's I want to see more data on this really.
That's fair. The overdrive trigger is very reminiscent of Talkaka, I believe, who's definitely zooming. But she has like a similar issue I know where sometimes the forced movement on her trigger can force her to like go to a position where she's less than happy attacking from. Like sometimes she has to throw herself into the corner to actually threaten something she wants to use. But
Yeah, yeah, that's a similar theme here because uh, fun little twist. If you look at Felicity's card, like above the effect under her picture, it says Fuder Ferret, which is like her magical girl title. But if you look at her exceed mode, it says Jubilant Storm, which is like
oh,
her name as a monster. That's sort of what she would be registered in, like under in the bestiary instead of like the magical girl list.
that's fun.
So that's like because her whole thing is like she really, really likes having her powers, and her joy is sort of what fuels them. So when she exceeds, she just goes wild. She starts running around. She cannot stop. She's going to just run and attack constantly.
Or like you have to change it in her
And
hand pose. That's also really cool.
yes, her hands become little
The claws.
ferret claws. I'm not actually good at drawing ferrets, but that's the best I could do. And also, she gets electricity instead of a coin.
It's kind of like funny.
Yes, and that sort of ties into what, like, okay, there's actually like a very specific kind of theming I want to go with here because if you look at Kafka's ability, she spends one force to push or pull one.
Mm.
And her magical girl name, Sunny Spider. But when she flips, Hollow
Oh,
Arachne's ability is now like push or pull one for free, but also plus 2 power if the opponent doesn't move. So suddenly she's getting extra power. She can just throw you into the wall and eat you alive with her spider powers.
yeah. Or pull you into the
I
wall, which is
mean,
scary.
but then there's Shelly, whose ability is like spend 2 force for +1 power and +1 armor. And when you exceed,
Indigo
it's
Robot.
actually the same thing, but only 1 force now. And that is the real like little theming here because Felicity and Kafka are monsters, so I wanted their Exceed modes to give them power.
I see.
So it's like it changes their playstyle and also makes them much more dangerous, which I kind of wanted to give a very slight season 2 kind of feel because I feel like a lot of season 2 characters they want to build up some big explosive payout with their stupid Exceed modes and just be like, sorry, I'm hitting you for +5 power, die now.
Yeah.
So Felicity and Kafka gain power bonuses when they exceed.
Someone kind of.
Shelly is not a monster though. She's actually just she's a robot, but like she's also just a normal magical girl and not a robot at all. So her ability's just the same but cheaper.
Value. And then he gets extra overdrive trigger because she definitely wants to be close to you.
Yeah, she gets all that, but like it's still the same ability. She's just doing what she's already doing. She's
Yeah.
not having any dramatic change in personality. She's just the protagonist. She's not actually the protagonist, but
Everyone's
she's
kind of protagonist
protagony
here.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely
But
a
yeah,
similar season two ish. Like your Exceed side represents some sort of giving into power feeling going on here, which is cool.
yeah. Yeah, but making magical girls turn into monsters may as well take from the season that is about turning into monsters.
Yeah. I think the only piece we didn't talk about much was the Astral. If you have any thoughts on that, I know you mentioned you have a bit of trouble balancing them, but
Yeah, I just kind of slapped numbers down. This was originally King Knights, King of Cards, which is like
uh,
6 speed and 2 range, but someone said, "Hey, that's kind of BS." And I'm like, "You know what? That's fair. I'll make it a mid speed at range 1." So it'll be really funny if you try to sweep her while she has this in hand. And it's a hit, spend up to 9 force. So it hits a total of 15 power if you can somehow afford that.
it is a lot of money.
And yes, but the picture is the real important part because I just like, see, I don't know how to balance astrals, so I just kind of designed them to be like the thing you see first because like the way they're set up in these bags, you always pull out the astral first and then the
Mm.
deck. And I think if you see this character like dressed as an idol doing a little pose with the heart hands and even giving you an autographed photo as she blows you up with lightning to kill you, I feel like that gives you a pretty good impression of at least somewhat of what Felicity is like.
Yeah, I kind of like how it shows up on the reference too. So kind of like these two are your first impressions, I guess, if you're just looking at it even as an opponent, looking at the references
Yeah,
separately.
because I mean, this is an original character. I don't have the luxury of like relying upon specific imagery from other things. Like I can't just draw a Shoryuken and say, "Oh yeah, that's Shoryuken." I have to make these characters look really amazing on their own when people have like no context. So I have to be real dramatic with things like astrals. I need to be real silly with them. Just give
Yeah,
you a very strong impression of who they are from the start. So like visual design with these has been very much on the front of my mind. Just how can I bring out this character's personality as best as possible with each card?
yeah, it
Got to draw them
definitely,
like attacking different ways in each one, like showing some new side of them.
definitely even in terms of like thinking about how much work it is to draw what is this 8 images per character? I guess 10 with the character cards, but it's definitely very impressive that you've like managed to consider so much in terms of like characterization and like the effects of the moves with all their designs.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. And it takes me like a week to do all this if I rush it and I already have all the effects done. But it's also, the fun part. getting to do whatever I want. Because like on the one hand, I can't just steal images from like the internet, but on the other hand, no one can stop me from doing whatever the hell I want with Felicity. I can make her throw a signed photo at you as she kills you.
You can do anything.
Although sadly, I cannot actually do everything because the autograph on that photo is just typed because I don't have a way of actually drawing an
Uh,
autograph. I really wish I did.
that's fair. Maybe tablet someday, but those are expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But yeah, like for me, this is actually like I know a lot of people they just want to like show their favorite characters, and I mean people have also done some really cool card layouts and stuff. So I don't want to say like I'm the coolest. I'm the coolest for doing all the art myself, but like for me, this is very much an art project as much as it is a game design project too.
yeah, I think you
I
would have
really
that
want to like
claim in terms of being the
yeah.
coolest.
I really want to like flex my skills. It does mean that it takes me way longer to pump out these decks than other people. I don't think
Understandable.
I could like just make a new custom every week or something. It's gonna be a long time before I have like dozens like most people do, but not most, but you know, a few.
Yeah,
But I'm pretty happy with like the quality of these, considering I made all of them from scratch.
yeah. I was about to ask, especially since usually the person who played them is around, what do you think about how they performed in the event, the current state of design, things you want to change? I guess you have any other thoughts in that sense? I know you did release a new update that isn't here right now, but
Yeah, some things I want to change. I just wanted to make Fodor like 2 power if you cross up the enemy, just so she has a little more close range juice. Other than that, I got like a bunch of recommendations. Oh yeah, Eclair. I also boosted the power on that because 4 power is really sad if you're spending
yeah,
3 gauge and like 2 or 3 4. So it's 5 power. Real big change.
that is value.
Uh, I think someone's like asked if Lumiere could have one range, either minimum or maximum. So it's like either 2-5 or 3-6. I'm kind of wondering if I should do that because on the one hand, like the idea behind it is that it only hits at range 4, but it's just very large, so it hits 3 and 5.
I see.
And also, I kind of wanted to keep her from being able to hit if you just play cross turn 1 to like slightly dissuade just going, oh yeah, sorry, I drew the perfect hand. Elation, EX Lumiere, spend an ultra, die turn 1. But I might still experiment with making it 3-6. Not 2 though. I don't think I want it 2. It should be a long distance attack.
2 to 5 is surprisingly nasty because you can't just like assault into projectiles, but as reliably at least.
Yeah, I just wanted her to like think a little about how to get started. She should maybe think about boosting first, not just blowing the enemy up instantly. I think I forgot what other changes. There's probably been a few, but for now, even though some parts have been like frustrating for people, I feel like it's at least been frustrating in the places where I want it to be.
Yeah,
So I think she's mostly like what I want out of her. She's doing pretty well.
I know a character with
Although it
like
is,
a lot of money and some fairly defensive shapes will probably end up being somewhat annoying to fight if she's played well, no matter what. But like, I feel like the costs are definitely there too, and make things feel a bit more reasonable.
yeah. And I think she's just got a deck that like even without playing most of her specials, she's still going to just be solid from drawing a lot of normals.
True.
Although, I don't have too many opinions on how people played her, partly because like I've gotten a job now, which means I'm working slower on Magical Girls, and also I don't have too much time to like spectate matches.
That's fair.
The only thing I noted was that other people are also very bad at pronouncing these attack names. Turns
Understandable.
out French is really hard to just suddenly start pronouncing.
Yeah. I think I took French classes, but again, it's been like 10 years, so I haven't gotten to use it much, but
Yeah,
it's probably fine.
I
As long as people can
I just
know what you're parrying.
yeah I decided just on a whim that Felicity should speak French because I thought it would be really funny if I said that she's like from Paris, and she uses that even in her branding to like she's a magical girl from Paris.
Uh,
But this story takes place in the real world, like a few years in the future, and the story also takes place in Lodestar City, which is like a fictionalized version of Dallas, Texas.
hmm.
She's from Paris, Texas. She's actually from like one city over.
Oh,
But she is like half French. She can speak it,
I did not know
but
Paris,
she's not
Texas
actually from
existed.
France.
I see.
Oh, oh yeah, there's a Paris, Texas. It's just like
Incredible.
it's just next door.
That's marketing.
And now I have to pay for it by like learning French for real.
That's
Thank
good.
you again to Inky for giving me all the translations for these things
Yeah.
when Google Translate couldn't help me enough.
I definitely like the. I like it when there's a theme to names, and being in French is a valid one, but it's also the boosts kind of mirroring existing things is really cool, I think.
Yeah. Unfortunately, now I have to like think of really cool attack name themes for all the other dozen or so characters in this set.
Makes
The
me
next
happy.
one's gonna be American Racehorses, but I don't know where I'm going for that.
Is that going to be the character on focus?
Yep, that's
Yeah,
her.
because I've been looking
Angelina
forward to her.
Sewell. Yes, I have started working on her a little bit, but work's got me tired.
Fair enough. Hey,
And also, I cannot find good pictures of American Racehorses to use as placeholder art. So,
important. Time for the
yes.
Musume placeholders. But yeah, anything else you wanted to bring up regarding Felicity?
I think I covered just about all the points I wanted to, actually. That's about all it is, the shape of this ferret.
Yeah, definitely appreciate you taking the time to talk about her, especially because again you've worked on a more detailed level in terms of like the art design. You've obviously made the character yourself, so it's a bit more depth than most people go into with custom design. I want to say, in some sense. So your perspective is
Yeah.
definitely appreciated.
Yeah, I've been like I've thought a lot about this because like I don't have nearly the experience that other people do, I think. And I'm kind of dumb, honestly. Especially when I like read some more complicated cards. Sometimes it feels like people make cards that are sort of like advanced Exceed. They're a little more complicated. It's a little hard for me to see what they're good for. And like I think that kind of stuff is honestly really cool. Like I want people to like, make more things and really explore the design space as much as possible. But also I'm really dumb and sometimes I just pick up a custom and I fumble everything and I feel really bad. So I've been wanting to like study Exceed both as a player and a designer by making these characters because I want this set to like feel a bit like it's a real set. Like you
Yeah,
could buy this next to a real set and pick it up and play it just as if you were picking up like the Street Fighter set or the Guilty Gear set. Like it should feel like you can just pop in with a sort of Soul and Kai sort of matchup and just play to have fun. So
yeah,
I'm like trying to research as I go, figure things out, and make things very like easy to digest even for other people. Like if they want to play or design similar things, I want
yeah.
to make things easier for me.
The first interview I did for the series, I think, was Missing No, and that's definitely a character that was designed to be a bit obtuse to read on purpose. Uh,
Yeah,
there's like a kernel of simplicity in there, but there's definitely something to be said for just like being, even if the characters are themselves aren't like necessarily beginner friendly, it's at least approachable. You can see what they're meant to be doing based on the effects. They're well telegraphed, I think, signposted.
yeah, big deal for playability, making things readable, understandable, so you like know what to do at a glance. And also, of course, they're magical girls, so they have to be real dramatic about things. Can't just
Flashy.
throw in a bunch of numbers and say this is an attack. You have to be like, this is really the attack.
Yeah. Great work again on your design on the series as a whole, especially. But I guess this interview is just Felicity, so
Yes, Kafka almost won that one time, and
true.
maybe Shelly with another shot. Although I feel like I'll have to nerf Shelly. She's kind of really strong.
Uh, yeah, like there's no restriction on people taking characters multiple times, so hopefully we'll get to talk about one of them in the future too. Would be cool.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I do not have the next character on deck for the next custom potluck, so well,
Yeah,
I don't know if anyone's actually gonna bother bringing Shelly, but
might be interested. Yeah, like we're
yeah,
holding them monthly. I'm almost concerned it's too frequent, but there's definitely going to be like one whenever you have more content ready.
yeah, it's fine. I don't expect to have magical girls out every month, but it's nice to just pop in every once in a while.
Yeah, hope you've enjoyed watching it, even if you don't get to participate too often.
Yeah, someday I'll work up the confidence to play against literally anyone other than Inky.
I believe.
Thank you.
Yeah. But yep, I will wrap up the interview for now. Once again, thank you very much, and I hope that everyone listening looks forward to more potlucks in the future.
Goodbye.
See you.